let's see if we can get so we can hear Doug, so we can maybe get some kind of material out of tonight, other than the Burke family of cocks, which I know way more about right now than I ever fucking wanted to.
Tonight's episode.
Just throwing that out there.
Tonight's episode of you is brought to you by the Burke Cock Museum. We show it.
If they wrote a book about the Burke family cocks, it would be called 16 Inches, A Story Of, and 9 of them belong to Doug.
Always look at the bright side of
life. Am I roboting now?
Poorly, but yes.
I'm so angry.
To do with that box, that plug box where the THX button is. It's the connection to that.
I need to get an adapter, a USB adapter for the auxiliary, and maybe I could try using this with a different thing instead of that THX box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Razer headset. I own Razer everything except for a headset.
I bought it based on you.
I told you I never.
Okay, well, there's.
But I love Razer products. It's exactly what I told you.
Well, so far all I've gained from this evening is Doug has a 9-inch dick.
It's not true. I don't have it. At best, 4.5. At best.
Then you fucked it up with drugs because you had a monster cock back in the day.
Yeah, that's what drugs are known for doing. That's what drugs are known for doing.
Maybe if you lose weight, I don't know.
I'm not complaining. You're the one talking about my dick, you fucking dummy.
Okay.
I'm gonna call this night a wash, man.
This is the funniest shit I've heard all day. And I listened to a Packers fan cry earlier.
I don't give two shits either way. There's people up here who that's their fucking religion, man. Whether it's Lions, Packers, or the fucking Bears.
Yeah, we're in like a weird area where it's like 80% Packers fans, like 15% Lions fans, and then you have your occasional asshole from Illinois.
Hey.
Are you familiar with the term fib?
Familiar with the term what? You cut out.
Fib.
Like
Fib.
as in to tell a lie?
No, to tell a tall tale.
It's an expression in Wisconsin and in Upper Michigan to describe somebody from Illinois. Fucking Illinois bastard. FIB. Or Apple Knot.
You know what I love about you know what I find most fascinating about the state of Michigan is that it is the #1 white trash state in the country, and it's not a part of the South. It's absolutely amazing.
I thought that went to West Virginia, just because of the white family alone.
West Virginia's in the South. It's south of the Mason-Dixon.
No. I'm just talking about white trash, the most white trash.
Well, he specifically said white trash that's not in the South.
North Fort Myers, specifically Suncoast.
I still think it's West Virginia.
I had a fucking service call on Suncoast the other day. God, man, what a fucking shithole that fucking place is.
What kind of service did you provide, John?
I went to work on a washing machine under GE warranty, and I pulled up to the fucking house. I'm sorry, I mean trailer. And they had the washing machine just out in the middle of the backyard, not hooked up, no electric, no water going to it. And I looked at them, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, well, it's broken. It's not working. And I'm like, well, your first problem is it's in the middle of your fucking yard, not hooked up to anything, so how am I supposed to diagnose it? And they looked at me like I was fucking from another planet, and I was like, you guys give me a call and reschedule when you guys have this thing hooked up so I can come out and diagnose it for you. And I left. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I'm not going to sit here and reinstall your fucking washer for the whopping $15 I'm going to make off this call if I'm able to fix the fucking thing while I'm there. Go fuck yourselves.
There's a documentary. There's a documentary on YouTube. I don't remember the name. I'll have to find it. I'll send you the link that somebody made about Suncoast.
Because it's like the world's largest trailer park, like per fucking square mile or something like that.
Yeah, by a long shot.
I spent a lot of when I started smoking weed again for the first time at like 30. I started buying it from somebody I knew at work who lived out in Suncoast on 4/20 of 2010. And I remember it being like the white trashiest fucking party. And then I remember nights sitting in cars. I remember nights sitting in cars in trailer, like literal trailer park, like something out of Breaking Bad, like walls surrounding this park of like sinister looking trailers with someone John and I both know scoring Dilaudid or Opanas or whatever we could get at that place. Like, I remember a lot of shady shit about that fucking place when I think about Suncoast.
Yeah.
I also think of some good stuff. There are some good people that I do know that live out there that actually have made their little corner of that place theirs and made it pretty nice for those around them.
Oh yeah. I've been in nice manufactured homes there where the people take care of it. You know, and they're clean and they're not, smoking meth in the back fucking hallway. But, majority rules, I guess. Doug, I love the fact that you have somehow preserved your Grand Theft Auto San Andreas bandana and that's on your wall. I think that is fucking awesome. That is
not
awesome.
I've been going through boxes today, finding all kinds of shit, man. I'm going to start pulling more stuff out and actually putting it up, but... Yeah, I found that, and I thought that was pretty dope, so...
I can't wait for 5 years from now to still be playing GTA 5.
Yeah, because it's never going to fucking end. Hey, we're on the PlayStation 9, but we're re-releasing Grand Theft Auto 5.
It was a great game. I played it, beat it twice. I never got into the online modes, but I know a lot of people have, obviously, because that shit's still going.
Yeah.
But
I liked 4 better.
I thought it was a
than
great
5.
What?
game. See,
Four? You're the only person.
Four.
You're the
That's
only
fine.
person.
I enjoyed the story of 4.
Good for me.
Here's what I'll say.
Eh.
GTA 5, I beat it in 2 weeks. I loved it. I thought it was a great game. Just like John, I didn't get into the online mode. To me, it's not that great of an online game. Everybody else loves it. But me and Doug always have a big debate on what our second favorite one is. For me, it's a toss-up between Vice City or GTA 3, but I would probably say Vice City squeaks out. San Andreas, wasn't that big of a fan.
Well, see, I was a huge fan of San Andreas.
And I'm not a huge fan of Vice City.
I appreciate when San Andreas bought the franchise and exploring new options. Like when you work out, you get buff. If you eat too much, you get fat. The thing was, I just thought it was too much at the time. I need to go back and replay it.
Better story, better voice acting, great the best soundtrack.
The best soundtrack, hands down.
I won't argue that.
Hands down.
I won't argue that.
Yeah, that Bob play with his pussy. Yeah, Bob, play with that pussy.
John, bring
that pussy. Oh, look at that. The pussy likes that. Look at
John,
that.
bring Lola and we'll have a 4-way.
Do you see how large my cat is?
Fucking hairy as shit like your face.
Your pussy, you mean? Yes. We see how large your pussy is, Bob.
This is
and how hairy it is.
That's Tally.
What if that was because your face is covered? What if that was actually like your beard and your beard coming to life was like that fucking cat? Oh my god, that looks like an alley cat, dude.
It does. John, did you paint the 2-foot gray strip behind you? Did that last conversation really get to you?
Oh, god damn it.
My wall looks like that.
Okay.
I have the I have the angle on my bed a little bit different tonight.
Oh. I thought it was I thought you were like, you know what, fuck him, I'm gonna paint it, and then you stopped after one stroke.
No, I'm gonna get some green paint though and do a fucking green screen so you guys can put me in fucking weird scenes behind me.
Delaware.
Oh my god.
Delaware.
We're in Delaware.
If we could get a picture of a shot of the inside of the smoke shop facing the counter where you sat and put that,
man,
that'd be the
best. I may have some photos like that. I have to go through my stuff.
Fucking that would be the best, bro.
Is the smoke
that
shop
would
still
be
there?
The best.
No.
No.
Half the mall isn't there. It's a fucking dirt mall.
Isn't it all joking aside? I went to a mall in Duluth for it was the first mall I've been to in years. And I remember walking into it and it was like, oh, this is a really, really nice fucking mall. And you go in and it's got 3 places open and it holds 47 different outlets and you're just like, God, this is sad.
Yep.
And they keep building small strip malls like that too, where like one or two places will sit there and the rest will be vacant.
I
Yeah,
started
sure.
watching a documentary on Amazon. I don't remember the name of it, but it was about just that, how all these malls in America are dying. And it was following around like this white trash maintenance guy / security guard / organizer of the mall. And they're like following him, and you see like this store's open, this store's closed, this store is closed. Started watching it. It was really interesting, but after 20 minutes, I was like, I don't know, I turned it off for some reason. Started watching gay porn.
I do that from time to time.
I'll tell you what, if you ever find yourself awake one night and just can't sleep and you want to go down a rabbit hole, look up the YouTuber Dan Bell. His whole career is he travels around the country going to famous malls, like malls that were in movies and shit, that are now like complete ghost towns and almost on their dying breath. And he like goes, some of them are even closed down, and he gets permission to go in and film. It's pretty interesting.
When I was
Shh. Wait, Bob. Wait, Bob, lower your voices. Inside voices, don't wake up Bob.
It's funny, he intended to snore, but it's just like him breathing heavy anyway.
Bob looks like he's just like waiting for one of us to give him a head. It's all cocked back, just waiting for one of us to put. Yep, there you go.
Anything
Well, do you
interesting
want-
coming up in the world?
Kong versus Godzilla.
I want to watch that. It looks good. Kong will win because he has opposable thumbs.
I didn't watch the last Godzilla, the one with 11 from Stranger Things, so I don't. I know she's in this one. I know it ties in. I don't know if it ties into the Bryan Cranston Godzilla, which I did enjoy quite a bit actually. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
they all go together.
I saw the King Kong remake with Samuel Jackson. It was It was whatever.
Do you guys think movie theaters will ever recover?
No.
No, not
You
big
think-
ones. Not well, no mom and pop. Maybe. Well, no. Because streaming.
You know what? I think they will, just because of like IMAX and stuff like that. I think people are going to want to go see the big blockbusters in IMAX or the IMAX 3D. I think the IMAX theaters will survive, but as far as like mom and pop theaters go, no, I don't think they're ever going to recover.
I don't even know about IMAX. I think in the long run, after this little experiment over the last years played out, I think they've realized that streaming is what I mean. You can literally watch it at home on your computer, on your goddamn phone. Like, what's the point of going to a movie theater to see IMAX when you can buy a 80 some odd inch fucking 4K TV now,
Yeah.
or now the 8K?
All right, well, here, okay. I got a fun question for you. We'll start with Bob, then we'll go to Paul, then we'll go to Doug, and then I'll answer. What was the last movie you saw in a theater? And we will start off with Bob.
Star Wars.
What was the Star Wars movie called?
Episode 9?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
The
Rise of Skywalker. All right, Paul. What was
Last movie I saw
the
in
last
theaters-
movie you saw?
Last movie I saw in theaters was with Doug, and it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That
Good
was not
movie.
the last movie.
Really good
Oh,
movie.
wait. That was the last movie I saw. Okay, I forgot about that. There's a reason why I forgot about that. But yeah, okay, that would have been my last one too. I thought it was going to be Avengers Endgame, but yeah, you're right. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was my last one in the
And
theater.
Fucked up
It was-
the lobby
Wait,
of the
alright.
theater when we went.
I saw
spilled
Endgame,
soda
too.
and
Did
popcorn
Endgame-
all over the floor.
Right, I forgot about that.
What was that, Bob?
Trying to figure out which came out later. Endgame, Spider-Man. It might have been Spider-Man.
Far From Home was after Endgame.
After Endgame, yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been Far From Home would have been the last thing I saw.
All right, you guys want to know what the last movie I saw in the theater was?
Good Will Hunting?
Boondock Saints
The
2.
The Dark Knight Rises,
2008.
2012.
My favorite of the series.
Really?
2012. That was the last time I went to a movie theater. Because here's the thing: like growing up as a kid, I used to go to the movies every fucking Friday night and loved it. And then as I became an adult, I like the comforts of home. I'm a smoker. to get me to go to a movie theater, it takes something really fucking special showing for me to want to go see it on the big screen. So I could care less if movie theaters survive or not. I like the streaming platform. I like the option that I could sit on my couch or lay in my bed. I got a fucking 60-inch fucking Vizio flat screen 4K ultra fucking smart TV. I don't need anything, and surround sound fucking. I don't need anything else. Like, that's great. Why would I go spend fucking almost $20 to go sit in a theater surrounded by people, and sometimes those people can be fucking assholes and talk and fucking be annoying and kick your fucking seat and blah, 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 blah for the experience of a movie. If it's something really fucking special, like there are some things that like I've seen on the big screen that like I'm glad I did. Like I remember when Saving Private Ryan opened up opening night, and me and my best friend Kyle at the time rode our bikes from his house in Pagefield to Bell Tower. All we knew about Saving Private Ryan was that it was a Tom Hanks movie about a group of soldiers trying to find another soldier. And within the first 20 minutes of that movie, watching all the old veterans exit the theater, and me and Kyle looking at each other like, this is the most intense shit that I've ever seen. The fact that I got to see that on the big screen and the sound in the theater, it was probably one of the most memorable experiences I've had in the theater. And I'm glad I got to see that aspect. But modern day, I could do without it. I really don't care.
So
real quick, I completely agree with you. Like, some of the best memories I have as a child. Like, I can remember me and Doug and my father going to see the original Batman. I can remember going to see the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are some of the earliest memories of my.
I remember seeing the Turtle movies in the theaters, both 1 and 2.
Yep.
Joker and then Rise of the Skywalker were the last two that I saw. What's the worst thing you ever did in a movie theater?
I worked at a movie theater. There's been a lot of fucked up shit I've done. And my favorite thing was to go. We had all the theaters were divided into 2 spots. If you went to the left or the right, 1 through 10 on the left, 11 through 20 on the right. And theater 5 and 6 were the ones sandwiched on the sides of the concession stand. They were the smallest theaters we had, so we would always show like the last run movies, like a big blockbuster that was getting ready to leave after 3 or 4 months of playing. They put it in the small theater, and like at that point, it's been 5 months that it's been out. Like 2 or 3 people come to see it at this point during the day when they want to kill time. So I would like to look down in the window before movies just to see if anybody was in there, because if nobody was in there close to start time, I would say, fuck it, I'm not going to waste the time starting this and then having to wait for it to end just to rethread the fucking thing. I'll turn it off until the next showing. Fuck it. And I love doing that because every now and then you'd see like 2 people in there and you'd see a girl giving a dude head at the very back. You just put your head out and see it happening. I saw one dude doing a strip tease for his girlfriend. Like, he started unbuttoning his shirt and he started whipping it around. It was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, man.
I always just felt bad because of what movie it was.
Schindler's List.
It was.
Was it really? Was it really?
Yep.
I'll never forget when Schindler's List was released. I'll never forget when Schindler's List was released on DVD. I was working at the mall, and I went to Suncoast and got my copy of Schindler's List on DVD. Then I went to my fucking weed man's house, and I got a fucking quarter sack of weed. Went home, got stoned, put on Schindler's List. Man, let me tell you something. If there's a movie you should not watch stoned ever, it's fucking Schindler's List.
To this day, I've never watched the whole film.
So really great fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's a really great film.
I mean, I was very distracted. I was very distracted in the beginning of the film. Then I saw the girl with the red dress, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go now because this is really depressing, and I'm not in the right headspace to watch this.
There's movies that are they're really fucking good, and they're just hard to sit through in some of them.
Like, for me, Requiem for a Dream is one of those movies, no matter how much I love it, it's hard to watch.
Why is it hard to watch for you?
One is someone who has really bad anxiety and mental issues like that. Watching his mother's decline is very much like watching parts of my own life.
Right.
In the way that...
Right. I can't watch...
Yeah. So that part of it really hits me.
That was one of my favorite fucking movies. You know, back in the day, I used to watch it once a week, but ever since my bout with addiction and recovery, I have a really, really hard time getting through that fucking film. I think I've tried to watch it like once in the past 5 years since being clean, but I can't get through it.
What's the movie?
Ill watching any movie with a rape scene in it, like a very graphic rape scene. It makes me angry, and I get physically ill to the point where like I throw up. Like Last House on the Left, that rape scene, like I was fucking angry.
The original or the remake?
I'm assuming the remake. It would have been like 2007, 2008.
Yeah, that's the remake.
That's the remake. I actually own that on Blu-ray because that movie, as fucked up as it is, it's well fucking. That movie is well fucking made. There's also the remake of the remake of I Spit on Your Grave is really fucking good. It's fucked up, but it's really good. What was that movie with Paul Walker where like
Fast and Furious?
No, I know what he's talking about. Running Scared.
Tokyo
Running Scared. I was at Adam and Daryl's apartment. Mm-hmm. Were you there that night when
I think I was.
They just moved into that apartment, and it had that high ceiling, the staircase with the low high ceiling, and they just got like a big screen TV, like the newest high def big screen that was out on the market. And they had us over to. He's like, "You got to see this movie. It's fucking amazing." This is Paul Walker joint.
That fucking scene where she finds all the tapes, bro. Oh my god!
With the smiley faces and the stars.
Yeah.
To this day, that is the first.
I don't know what you guys are talking about,
dude. It's fucking hard to watch.
There's a movie called Running Scared with Paul Walker. I've only seen it the one time at Aaron and Daryl's, and Aaron was like, "You got to see this. It's got Paul Walker's new movie. It's fucking amazing, dude. It's so badass. He's awesome in it." And I said, "Great. I like Paul Walker. I like the Fast and the Furious movies." And essentially, if I remember the story right, I'm probably misremembering because I've only seen it the one time. I didn't want to see it again. It's not a bad movie. Either. But it's so what they put into my head, just with what they could show on screen, was enough to really physically make me feel ill the first and only time I've seen it. And it was, he ends up trying, if I remember correctly, he's protecting his neighbor's kid, or he's in charge of somebody's kids for the evening or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's being chased by killers or a mafia. I don't really recall.
I think it's some kind of Russian mafia or some shit.
Yeah. He's being chased, and he all the while he's doing this favor for a neighbor or friend or something like this. So he's basically on the run with this kid, and they get separated at a parking lot, and I forget exactly what happens. Like, he's pumping gas, he says, "Stay in the car, don't answer it for anybody," or whatever. He goes to pay or whatever. This is what my memory's popping out. And this couple comes up to the car and starts talking to the kid, and it looks like a normal Midwestern married couple, like a happy church couple. It's something out of a John Hughes movie, really. And they start talking to the kid friendly and that. Why are you alone? Where's your parents? What's wrong? And he's like, "Oh, it's okay. You don't have to worry. I'm so-and-so. Now we're not strangers," and shit like that. And the kid goes with them, and they put him in their van, along with, I think, 2 or 3 other kids, just completely different races, ethnicities. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And they get back to their place, and there's like all these themed rooms that are playrooms with toys and shit, and cameras set up on tripods. And I mean, they don't show anything.
But it's enough to make you fucking furious.
Enough to make you feel uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's so detailed that when they walk along the hallways, when the light casts their shadow, it doesn't cast human shadow. It makes it a point, if you really pay attention, the shadow they cast on the wall is like demons, with like the horns and everything. Yeah. And when I think it's Paul Walker's wife or girlfriend figures out what's going on and finds the kid through the cell phone or some shit, and she ends up saving the kid and finding and thwarting the whole operation and saving the children, and the cops come and they start going through all the closet, and they find just mountains of CDs and VHSs and DVDs with kids' names and like stars
and
next to them, indicating their favorite ones. And I mean, it is. I felt so fucking nauseous when I got after that scene. I told Adam, I said, like, you gotta. I just realized at the beginning of the story I called Adam Barrett Aaron Barrett from Real Big
I know.
Fish.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to.
Anyway, I told Adam to pause the movie after that scene, and I had to go out and smoke a couple cigarettes. And I told him, I'm like, I don't think I can finish that movie. And he's like, dude, that's the only time that kind of thing happens. He's like,
Doesn't
it's not.
matter.
I'm like, I don't want to see the rest of the movie, dude. I'm glad they got saved, but I don't need to finish that movie, man.
I had a very
That movie fucked with my head.
This week I had a similar experience. Obviously not that in depth. I'm on season 6 of Sons of Anarchy now. And I completely forgot about the storyline of the tranny from Justified. The guy who plays the tranny from Justified. I forgot the whole storyline.
Oh, Walton Goggins.
I forgot the whole storyline.
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome.
I forgot the whole storyline of his mother being doing kiddie porn with him and incest kiddie porn. And I forgot that episode. I'll tell you what, that episode was pretty hard to watch. And I'll tell you, when Jax blew the mother's head off, like, it was one of the most, like, it took a weight off your shoulders, like, oh god, justice was served. You know what I mean? And, like, Jax didn't even think about it. It wasn't questioned. He just blew her head off.
I'm impressed that you've powered through since the last time we talked about it, how much you powered through that show so far. That's impressive. Number 2, if I remember correctly, his mother was played by the voluptuous, sexy Adrienne Barbeau.
Yes, that is correct.
Who was also in Carnival, classic movie actress. Yeah,
has amazing natural breasts back in the 70s and the 80s.
I'm not
her boobs were awesome.
On my cell phone, the Google search history, I just have it turned off. But if I had it turned on, you could easily tell what show I'm watching because it would be every female actress's name with the word nude after it.
I'm the same way.
Can't take you guys anywhere.
The most uncomfortable I've ever been in a theater. This would have been 95, 96. We went to go see Kids in the theater, me and my buddy Mike. And they carded you 3 times to go see that movie. They took your ID 3 times. They had cops at the door. It was me, Mike, and some dude. And that was it in the entire fucking theater on opening night. And I'm sitting on one side of the aisle, and I'm like, well, Mike, go sit over there, because we got all the room in the fucking world. And it was very uncomfortable watching the film to begin with. It's just a very unsettling movie.
It is.
And then on the way out, Mike had to stop me from beating up an old man. The guy who was behind us literally was sitting with newspaper over his junk with his hand on his dick. And I was ready to fuck this man up. And Mike is much larger than me. He's like, dude, let's just go. If you hurt this man, you know, how are you going to prove anything? And I'm like, fuck him. I don't have to.
My kid's story, like, I didn't see it right when it came out, Bob. And I was in England, and one of my buddies... we were having a conversation about movies, and he's like, well, what did you think of Kids? And I'm like, what do you think? I've never heard of it. He's like, and he chippered up, and he played it so fucking well. He goes, you've never seen Kids? And I'm like, no. He's like, oh, it's about, teenage angst and growing up in New York City. It's like Breakfast Club. It's like a come to age movie. He's like, I've got it on Blu-ray. He's like, I got it on Blu-ray. I'll let you borrow it. And he knows I get physically ill in rape scenes. Like, that was a known thing. That I was angry and ill. And I watched it. And I'm not going to lie, the last scene, it's just me, it's just Casper, fucking enraged me. I went straight to his place, and, like, we literally we exchanged swings after that. I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't you tell me what the real plot of this fucking movie is? Why would you hide that?
It was a rough film to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my most uncomfortable time in a theater story. This will lighten the fucking mood a little bit because Jesus Christ, guys. Do you guys remember a film in the 90s called Diabolique that had Sharon Stone and Harvey Keitel in it? It was like a dark, sexy thriller.
I know what you're talking about.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so
at my grandparents' house, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So check this out. My mother's friend, Diana, and her girlfriend came down to visit Florida. I'm probably 13 years old, like going through puberty, just discovered masturbation, the whole 9 yards. So we all go to the movie theater one day. My mom, my dad, and my sister my mom, my dad, and my sister go see one movie, and I go see this movie, Diabolique, with my mom's friend Diana, who, by the way, Diana is like 20 years younger than my mother, extremely attractive woman, and her friend, who's also 20 years younger and is an extremely attractive woman. And I'm a 13-year-old kid sitting next to these two very beautiful girls watching this really fucking intense, like, sexual fucking thriller movie. And throughout the movie, they keep, like, looking at me and shit like that, and I'm so uncomfortable.
I actually have a story like that too. An uncomfortable story around somebody you shouldn't have seen. Seeing something like that. It was the year the King's Speech won the Oscar for Best Picture. John drove me to the airport, and I had just bought a laptop, a brand new laptop, and I had loaded it. At that point in time, we were living together, and we were downloading the Oscar screeners would leak online months before they would come out, and we would download them every year, and we'd watch them. And I'd always get like a cease and desist letter, at least one from Comcast. And I downloaded the King's Speech, and I believe Black Swan was another one that I downloaded. There was a Brad Pitt one, like a 3-hour long opus of life. It was a Terrence Malick movie. I can't think of the name of it, but I had those 3 movies on my laptop, and I'm sitting next to this very elderly woman on the airplane. And I pop my laptop open when it's appropriate, and I start watching Black Swan. Now, I have no idea what the movie is, other than it's a Darren Aronofsky movie, and it's about ballet, and it's got Natalie Portman. And visually, it looks amazing. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to watch Black Swan. It shouldn't be a bad movie. Everybody's seen the trailers for it. This is culture, whatever. And I'm watching it next to this broad, and this scene busts out where Natalie and Mila Kunis have like Mila have this like lesbian scene that just gets like I'm not kidding, like 5-10 seconds in, I got a hard on, and I'm like, oh man, this isn't going to be good. And I saw the
great scene.
The lady next to me had been watching the movie for like the previous 10 to 15 minutes, and she's like, "Is that new Black Swan movie? I saw the I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Do you mind if I watch along?" I'm sure. And that scene came on, and I immediately slopped the fucking laptop lid down. Well, not immediately, but full story, bro.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I remember the following year for either my birthday or Christmas, you bought me the Black Swan Blu-ray and gave it to me.
That's right.
I love that movie. I think it's.
I do too.
I think it's great. I mean, I'm not really like an artsy movie guy, but I really fucking enjoy that movie as a piece of fucking art. And that fucking scene that you're talking about is great. Sorry, hate to sound like a dude, but man, that scene is fucking. That'll get your goddamn juices flowing in a nice fucking like R-rated type way. That scene is better than most fucking like hardcore fucking porn out there, just because it's done really well. And I mean, come on, man, Natalie Portman and fucking Mila Kunis are two just absolutely drop dead gorgeous women.
In my life,
absolute works piece of art.
I've seen like 3 people do amazing Halloween costumes in my life. One was Nick Danko dressed as Lil Wayne in full black face, full black body paint with dreads. 2 was a friend of mine. Well, yeah, he was posing with a ton of people too. It was really weird. 2 was this girl I know who dressed as as Ursula and did an uncanny version of Ursula. And 3 was the picture Mark Davis posted of himself in the Black Swan makeup.
I remember that. That's great.
That fucking shit had me dying.
Not to go off track, but when I was running the Smiling Dog and we did a Halloween costume contest, I remember Mark Davis showed up and he went as Mr. Lebowski from The Big Lebowski. Yeah. He had a wheelchair and like a blanket over his legs, and he was like, "Hello, I'm Mr. Lebowski," and I was like, "That is the fucking best costume I have ever fucking seen." Jesus. And I was like,
dude, this last year he did a video diary of him eating a McRib and rating it on an advent calendar every day.
Oh, he's still doing it until it goes away. Every single day.
Every fucking day.
No matter what he does, every day he does a live video, and he's on day like 30 something. Every single day,
the other day
does a live video. It's
so unhealthy.
He's like it's winding down. You can tell they're getting sloppy. There's only like 5 onion slices on this one. This one's kind of shitty quality. It was fucking hilarious, dude. Like, he picks that shit apart like Lester Bangs is rating an album.
Jim Morrison, he's a drunken buffoon. Give me the Guess Who. At least they have the courage to be drunken buffoons.
Exactly. These people, they're not your friends. None of us are cool.
It's just a shame you got into it after it died. Rock and roll's on its last death rattle.
I fucking love that movie.
I love that movie too. I know it's one of your favorites. It's mine too. I love that movie. And it's funny. I started listening to Mark Maron's podcast recently. He was telling the story about how he was in that movie, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's the lock the fucking gate guy at the stadium that drives through the gates." Yeah. That's Mark Maron. Lock the gates. That's Mark Maron. He was in that movie.
Wow.
And he tells his whole story about it. It's great.
When it comes to Hollywood, I love guys who make a living off of every role just playing themselves. And Mark Maron is definitely one of those guys where he just like plays himself throughout time. It's like, oh, this is Mark Maron in the 70s. This is Mark Maron in the 80s.
Wait a minute. Is this an interesting segue that you've just presented to us for the weekly award, the weekly
Ray Liotta
Award? Actor of the Week Award.
I nominate Mark Maron for the weekly Ray Liotta Award.
I second that. Absolutely. Mark Maron's fantastic. I recently watched his latest stand-up special on Netflix, and it was brilliant. He's brilliant, and he's brilliant just being himself, just talking. It's almost like he doesn't have to put work into anything. It's almost like he doesn't have to write anything. He's one of those guys that you can just put on a stage with the fucking microphone in front of him. If he just starts talking about what's on his mind, it's going to be captivating entertainment and extremely fucking fun.
Real quick, I did look it up. Black Swan was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture in 2011.
Yeah.
And it was matched up against 9 other movies back when they were doing 10 movies for Best Picture. And each one of these movies listed here is a banger, except for one, because I never saw it, so I can't tell you. And it's that movie's the
What are they?
The kids
what
are
are they? Go.
The kids are all right.
It was with what's his name, redhead Julian Anderson. No, not Julian Anderson. Julian Moore and what's his name? Hulk. What the fuck's his name? I can't think of
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Thank you. That was a good movie.
I never saw it.
What was the next one?
All right, read the last one. Go.
I'm trying to. Never saw it, so I can't say. But the rest of them, here we go. Toy Story 3, banger. King's Speech, banger. Black Swan, banger. 127 Hours. Not a banger, but not a bad movie.
Never saw it.
Great. I liked it. I thought it was really interesting. The fact that you can make a fucking movie about a guy stuck in a fucking hole between 2 rocks, that goddamn interesting and hold my attention, that's amazing. Because if you ask somebody, hey man, did you see 127 Hours? No, what's it about? Well, this guy's stuck between 2 rocks. And? No, that's it. He's stuck between 2 rocks, and then finally at the end he frees himself, and it's very intense and very disturbing. He goes, oh, so what else is the movie? No, that's what it's about. The fact that you can make a fucking movie about that and make it good, whoever made that movie deserves a fucking award.
Danny Boyle made that movie.
Danny Boyle fucking train spotted. My N-word. We have to edit that.
The Coen Brothers remake of True Grit, banger. Fucking love the movie, and I love the original. I love the remake.
It was alright.
I don't think it was best.
It was alright. I watched it once. I'll never watch it again.
Oh, you're right, but what I'm saying is every movie listed is not a shitty movie. Like they're not great, but they're not
right.
shitty.
Oh, yeah.
The Fighter, Wahlberg and
great movie. Great movie. Christian Bale, Mark Wahlberg, great movie.
Head, body, head.
Great
head,
movie.
Body.
And this, if I'm not mistaken, was the same year that Kevin Smith made Red State because Melissa Leo was on a Oscar campaign for The Fighter, and they used that at the same time while making Red State for that fucking film fest, that Robert Redford film fest, Sundance.
Yeah, Sundance.
Holy fuck!
Can I interrupt really quick and tell a story about Red State?
It's a great fucking movie.
I don't know if you guys know my roommate Jeff Bernard or not. He had not seen a lot of movies and television shows, and 5 years ago when I moved in, I started getting into things. And one night I made him watch Red State, and Jeff is a very, very hardcore libertarian, fucking like lots of guns, doesn't like the government, so on and so forth. That's where he kind of stands politically. And I made him watch Red State one night. And at the end of Red State, he was like, "Thank you for showing me this movie." And he's never thanked me for showing him anything. Like I got him into like Sons of Anarchy and so on and so forth. And he's like The Wire, and he's like, "Oh, this is really fucking good." But he actually thanked me for showing him Red State, and he goes, "I don't know what the fuck I just watched. Like I have to go sit in my room right now and think about what the fuck you just showed me, and the ending and the movie and everything about it." And I was like, "That's awesome. You should, because that's a brilliant fucking movie. And at the end of it, you should be like that at the end of the movie."
So my question for you is, did he, in the movie when he was watching it, was he rooting for the ATF or the home team?
I don't know. Probably the home team. But at the end of the movie, probably not.
All right, quick.
Great movie.
Great fucking here. Movie. What is Kevin Smith's worst film?
Yoga Hosers. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't care. I sat through it. I watched it.
I haven't
fucking
seen it.
horrible. It's horrible.
You know what? I take it back. Well, no, I don't take it back. But like, look, now that I'm older, like there was a time where I defended the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, and as an adult, I realized that I could still sit through like the director or producer's cut, but it is a turd and a fucking half, man. And I can honestly say now, without any inhibition, Jersey Girl, Yoga Hosers.
No.
I still like Jersey Girl.
I like Jersey Girl.
I watched fucking Jersey Girl last night. I shit you not. True story. I still love that movie.
I love the fact that he literally, without coming out and saying anything, he took a shot at Tim Burton for copying his ending to Planet of the Apes by throwing Sweeney Todd into Jersey.
Great trip too.
What's our least favorite Kevin Smith movie? Is that he has to be writer and director, just director, or
director?
Cop Out.
Oh, you're gonna go with Cop Out.
Cop Out's not a good movie.
I'm curious. To be honest, I didn't like Cop Out, but I think I'm gonna have the unpopular opinion. I really didn't like Reboot.
I wasn't a huge fan of Reboot.
I wasn't a huge fan of it either. If I had to answer, I'd probably say Reboot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I was a huge fan, but I didn't hate it by any stretch.
No, I think Yoga Hosers is by far my least favorite of his. Yoga Hosers or Tusk? I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Tusk.
You know what kills?
I love Tusk. I love Tusk. I thought Tusk was fucking.
Don't say that you love. When they start playing fucking Fleetwood Mac, dude, come on, man.
What's your favorite Kevin Smith movie?
Red State.
For the longest time, it was Chasing. But honestly, as I've gotten older, my favorite is probably Clerks 2.
That's a good one. I just watched that last weekend. That's a good one. It holds up.
The ending, man, just the redemption in Clerks 2 is...
I love you, man. You're not going to make me say it, are you? I love you, man. You're my best friend. Don't go.
I'm definitely going to say Chasing Amy. And if we're all being honest, I know nobody believes it, but I'm going to say it. He wrote Good Will Hunting. I don't give a shit. That was not all Ben Affleck.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Dude, I would not.
He he did some fucking rewrite work on it, but that was fucking.
I guarantee you, he did more than a little bit of rewrite work. Okay, no, what if Affleck and Damon written
you guys. Since? I didn't say nothing.
What have they written since then?
And that's my point.
Good point. Good point.
Not a goddamn thing.
Project Green.
But what has Kevin Smith written that's as good as Good Will Hunting? I love the man. I love his filmography.
Green Arrow, his comic books.
To me,
Chasing Amy.
The mark of a true great Kevin Smith movie is the dialogue. And what made Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
It was the dialogue.
The dialogue.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
It's very possible. I won't say it's probable.
Kevin Smith has a tendency to really just speak his mind, and he really doesn't give a shit. So why, after all these years, has he not come out? And him and Ben Affleck had beef, or not necessarily beef, but Affleck kind of was just whatever, fucking Kevin Smith, and they
weren't friends for a decade
between them. Yeah, they weren't friends for a long time. So you'd figure in those 10 years, if Kevin Smith really did serious fucking rework writing on the Good Will Hunting script, that he at some point would have been like, you know what? Fuck this guy. Yeah, I did it. That was me. That was my fucking movie.
That's my Oscar.
I think Kevin Smith is truly, in his heart, a selfless person, and always has been. And I think Kevin knows that he is blackballed by the Academy and would never win an Oscar. So I think that Ben and Matt winning the Oscar for writing, in his mind, he looks at it as his Oscar, and that's why he keeps it hush-hush. Because if it came out, they would lose the Oscar.
I don't know. That's a nice conspiracy theory. I don't know.
Especially considering they forgot to thank him in their speech.
Exactly.
What was the last three?
Winter's Bone. Not a bad movie. I liked it.
Great movie. I love what's his name?
Obviously,
Deadwood. The guy from Deadwood. John Hawk. John Hawk. God, John Hawk was fucking great in that movie.
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. Yeah.
What's the last two?
The Social Network. Fantastic movie.
Great.
Fucking fantastic film. And finally, which I think should have won, but King's Speech won. But I think Inception should have won, personally, out of everything listed there.
It's a good movie, no rewatch value whatsoever. That movie gets more confusing every time I fucking watch it. I saw it in the theater, I really enjoyed it, and I've never watched it since, because I've tried, and I just get really fucking confused. And I'm
Tenet is exactly the same way. Am I the only one here that truly believes that Kurt Cobain wrote Live Through This?
No, I totally think he wrote that album.
Doug?
Being completely honest with you guys, I'm not as well versed on this particular topic. I like Nirvana, but I've never. I Live Through This is all right album, but Hole has never been something I never really kind of went down the rabbit hole of the Courtney.
I like them.
To me, it just, that album just sounded front to back like a Nirvana album.
Yeah.
If you were to take her voice out.
It could be a Nirvana record. If Kurt Cobain's saying those lyrics, it could be a fucking Nirvana album. I agree with you 100%.
The only time I cared about Courtney Love was Man on the Moon.
I fucking hate Courtney Love.
Tell you what, the only time I like Courtney Love, now that you bring it up, she had great tits in Man on the Moon. 200 Cigarettes. That is my absolute favorite thing that she's ever been in. And it's not because of her, it's because everybody else that's in the fucking movie.
During furlough, I started watching movies that I should have seen decades ago and never did.
Like Back to the Future?
And for the first... kind of. Okay. I watched Reality Bites for the first time ever last year.
Same way about it the way I feel about Singles. I don't hate it, I don't love it.
Yeah,
on the other hand, I like So I Married an Axe Murderer because to me that movie is making fun of those other two movies.
First movie I ever bought with my own money. And Doug stole it from me.
It's not the only thing I stole from you.
What's your guys' opinions on Ready Player One?
Book is great, movie's good. Not as good as the book, but the movie's I think it's pretty good.
It's turning...
I haven't watched it.
Haven't read the book or watched the movie. Haven't done either.
I want each of you to name your favorite trilogy. You don't have to explain why unless you want to, but name your favorite trilogy.
Favorite trilogy? That's fucking. That's easy. That's easy.
I'm gonna give you.
There's easy. There's only one.
Yeah, the original
RoboCop.
Star Wars for me.
Star Wars.
Godfather.
Ooh, shit! I'm changing my answer to John's.
You can't change your answer, you little bitch. You already answered.
I didn't like 3. So, fine, I'm good with Star Wars. I didn't like Godfather 3.
I didn't like Godfather 3 either. Nobody likes Godfather 3, but it exists because it needs to exist, and it ends the way it does because that's the way it needs to end, and that itself is kind of brilliant. So I say Godfather trilogy.
Yeah. Godfather 1 and 2 are in my top 5 favorite movies.
All right, Doug. Go ahead, Doug. We're waiting.
My favorite trilogy is an unrecognized cinematic masterpiece called Porky's. Each one's better than the last. It's all one unifying tale. It's a fantastic story.
Can you guess my favorite trilogy?
The Jersey trilogy, which would be Clark, Mallrats, Chase, and Amy.
Wrong, but close. It is. They involve a lot of talking.
Never-ending Story, Lord of the Rings.
Nope. Richard Linklater's Before trilogy.
Yes, I know what you're talking. I have the posters for them. You're right.
Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight.
Yep. First one's the best, in my opinion.
It is, but to me, they accurately portray a relationship, especially when you get to Before Midnight.
A lot of good stories around the time working at the movie theater around the time that those were coming out. The second, the third one.
The third one, there's a scene to me as a married couple watching them fight. It was almost too real. Like, it was so believable, the fight, that it was like watching someone's private business, like, for real. So I appreciate the level of authenticity they go to those films.
That's the reason I like that one too.
Yeah.
As a married man myself,
yeah, you've been married for a while now.
I just realized you and Bob are the only two that have. John, you've never been married, right?
Nope.
You're right. I forgot you were married, Paul.
Yes. I
totally
forgot that I was.
I forgot my brother was married. I sense there's more to this story.
You know what?
I'll tell it on the next.
We'll continue the story.
Yeah, I'll tell it on the next episode. It's a long tale.
Which is better, the original Roots or the History Channel remake of Roots? The gritty, realistic remake, or the fun, schlocky, white people are like the villains from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride Roots, or the meat grizzly fucking grindhouse Roots that came out a few years back on History Channel? Both
I've
good.
never seen either.
The remake.
I've never seen either.
I'll tell you why I think the original, because Haley was directly involved in making it, so according to the family lineage, the first one is going to be as close to accurate as possible because of Haley's involvement.
But I don't think it's as I think the History Channel one is more accurate in terms of probably how what really happened. If you go back and watch the original Roots, it is fantastic. But it really feels like you're going through the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. The white people all seem like goofy buffoons who are having a good, jolly old time, and the black people are getting whipped, and it's not so bad because they get to get married and have it is a fucked up portrayal when you go back and rewatch it again.
I'll have to watch it. I've honestly never seen it. My father wasn't around much, and when he did, it was usually, let's watch Platoon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my dad was fucked up, dude.
My dad pulled me out of 9th grade to go see Pulp Fiction in the theater 100 miles away at Green Bay. That was pretty cool.
Dude, I remember seeing we were in the theater, so I would have been 87, I would have been 10. And my dad had like a fucking Vietnam flashback in the middle of Platoon and had to leave the theater.
Yeah, my dad sat me down multiple times, made me watch Hamburger Hill, Full Metal Jacket, Platoon with him. And then I would ask my dad about the Vietnam War. My dad was a Marine infantry, served 2 tours over there. So yeah, I got lots of memories like that as well, Bob.
Here's an underrated,
great movie.
Underrated Vietnam movie is We Were Soldiers.
I love We Were Soldiers. I think that's probably the most, as far as like the shock value, I think that's probably
that
the
opening
most
scene?
realistic. It's probably the most realistic interpretation of what the war looked like. But as far as how the war really was, I think Platoon nails it. Oliver Stone with how the soldiers acted, talked, stuff like that. But We Were Soldiers is fucking great. The way they didn't hold back with like the gore and the shock value, and just the amount of carnage. We Were Soldiers is great.
Recommendation: if you want the most accurate portrayal of the modern day military, I highly recommend watching HBO's Generation Kill. That show fucking nailed it. If you want to know what it's like being in the modern day military, Generation Kill on HBO.
I'll check it out. I have HBO Max, so
check it out.
And as far as movies go, I think Jarhead is probably also one of the most accurate depictions of being in the military.
I love Jarhead.
Regardless of
I love Jarhead.
I love
Jarhead.
I like Hurt Locker, but I love Stripes.
I loved Hurt Locker.
Stripes. In the Army now is probably the closest representation. So
on
that note, I'm gonna.
Probably.
And I will say before we go, I'm going to say as a sign out.
Thank you, my brother, the pool man.
That easily The Great Outdoors is the best representation of a hunting film. And have a good evening.
He's never seen Escanaba in the Moonlight.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Love you guys. See you guys later.